Oh, it was, this game's driving me nuts is what it is. All right, game 9. We've got Matt and Nate playing the Allies, and Stephen and Rich playing the Axis in the European theater. Soviets bid 6, chose first. Italians bid 3, chose second. And Germany won the toss and chose last. And we got convoy raid in A9. The Americans are coming over across the Atlantic. Soviets coming into the English Channel area. And in the Eastern Front, Stalingrad is embattled. Belarus has an air attack going on. And in the Baltic Sea, the German Navy is under pressure from the Russian Air Force. Elsewhere, Italians are making a move onto the Gibraltar, looks like. And in the Eastern Med, Battle Royale, British and Italian Navy. And in Egypt, the fight for oil. South Africans coming up to support.
And an I-3 move.
And the I-3 move. Yeah. Not a lot going on the Eastern Front, considering how many troops are over there. Let's see how it goes. Post-combat, Germans did a good raid on the Allied convoy, getting iron and 3 OSRs. The battle for Leningrad fell to the Germans. The German Navy in A5 was completely sunk by the Soviet Air Force. Belarus was a really good air raid, taking out 2 iron and OSR and destroying the factory smokestack and the railroad. But the Axis, big victory in the Eastern Mediterranean, sinking the British Navy there. And the Axis also taking Egypt. Now the oil fields of the Middle East and Iran are open up. And there's not much British troops down there in Africa to do anything about it. Okay, round 2, turn order. Soviet Union bid 1, everybody else bid 0. Soviet Union chose last. Americans won the draw, British won the draw, they chose last. Axis going first and second. A9, German subs under attack, American Navy. A15, German subs not under attack. German Air Force doing nothing. Big battle in A6, couple of bombers and some ships. Landing force is threatening. Gibraltar is under attack. The Italian infantry versus the RAF. Strategic bombing raid in Poland.
Unopposed.
And it is unopposed. Something's going to be killed there. And Eastern Front, 0 battles. 0 battles. That's never happened.
All's quiet on the Eastern Front.
We had a new movie. Of course, the Middle East is fighting it out. Aircraft versus the Italian army. And Germany is reinforcing Egypt. Italy reinforced Egypt. And I forgot to tell my British partner to also move my British guy down there, but I always forget it too.
We ran out of orders for Britain.
Would have done it.
And that too. Again, these German subs cannot be killed, and they wipe out a cruiser and wound a battleship, but healed without cost. Battle of A6, the flight was repelled and lost a cruiser. Land invasion remains intact. Britain loses Gibraltar, and Britain loses the Middle East. And a strategic bombing run in Poland wiped out everything they were producing, 2 fighters and artillery and infantry. But that's it.
I think that's it. Film the dead board.
Here's the
Or the
dead
lack
board.
of dead board.
Here's the lack of dead. This is not the worst war in history. Round 3 turn order. The Germans bid 6
Yes.
and they chose last. Soviets bid 4, chose first.
Italy was 2.
Italy bid 2 and they chose the second to last. And Britain and America bid 0. Battle of the Atlantic continues. Americans have some aircraft helping out. There's some wayward bombers. And in A-15, we've got dogfight between 2 bomber groups. And the submarines are in the balance. A-6, D-Day has happened, but not in France. Americans and British have moved into Denmark and Norway. And a lone Italian bomber is going to try and sink 3 ships. Nothing happened in France. Nothing, no combat in the Med. But here on the Eastern Front, we got some action. Let's see, that is Finland. It's been invaded by the Soviets. Soviets trying to take the Leningrad back. The Germans invaded Bryansk. And that's it. And then down in the Middle East, Soviets moving their air and land forces to take that oil back from Britain, and Britain's moving up from Africa. Round 3 combat results. 1 German sub sunk in the Atlantic. 1 German sub holds on. The Battle of the Bombers. 1 submarine sunk. Not much happening in A6. 1 bomber from Italy not sunk.
He took
not
out
defeated.
something. I think he took out a sub.
The Allies successfully invaded Norway and Denmark. Soviets successfully invaded Finland. And there's a Soviets successfully invaded Leningrad. But the Germans, they invaded Bryansk and they took it, and they got major forces right outside the gates of Moscow. Nothing going on in the oil field of Caucasus, but in the Middle East, it's a standoff and it is embattled to be fought again. And Africa's about to get hot.
They have 11.
Soviets and their 15 million dead, and Germany's getting stressed out. The bids were 6, 7, 4, Germany, Russia, and Italy. And they went 1, 2, 3. And trying to kill the German sub in the Atlantic. And we got a major Axis invasion force off the coast of Ireland. And just a couple of British ships against 4 Axis ships. Bombing raid into the British Isles.
Actually, there's no bombers. It's just. Oh, yeah, there is. Never mind.
Right there.
Fires
And
too.
Denmark has been reinforced. And convoy raid in A-15. Convoy raid in the Baltic Sea. And the big story is Moscow has been invaded. Lots of aircraft, even number of troops. This prevented Soviets from railing into Moscow because they bid 1 short oil from Germans. The Middle East battle continues and Africa is quiet. Round 4 combat. Finally, the German sub is sunk in A9. Ships off the British coast. awaiting landing orders. A6 battle, everything was eliminated from the sea. Convoy raid in A15.
There was no battle in A6.
Yeah. There was a battle.
Oh, that was an air battle over Britain, that's what it was. The Battle of Britain.
Germany lost 3 bombers and 3
fighters.
fighters, and the Allies lost 3 fighters and 1 bomber.
In the Baltic Sea, convoy raid.
Was successful, hit a OSR.
And then in the Middle East, it remains in Italy's hands, wiping out all the land units from the Soviets. And Africa is quiet. And Moscow fell to the Germans.
Couldn't quite defend it in time.
The Germans outdid the Soviets, and it was no going there by the rails.
About to get it, dog.
They captured those buildings. Bombers are on the board. That's actually that's a lot of airplanes. But Russia's gonna fall again.
Yeah.
That's it. That's Russia. 3, 6.
And on the
Knock Russia down another
doom
peg.
wheel, Soviets gonna go down. So now the Allies can land in Soviet Union.
Yes, they can. Finally.
Germany bid 7, Italy bid 5, and the Soviets bid 3. That's the turn orders. Britain and America bid 0.
I want to go first. No.
Operation Sea Lion is underway. And the Allies are trying to sink the Axis Navy
Oil to start fighting him.
and defend the British homeland, a convoy raid, trying to get some iron or OSR from the Axis. And the Denmarkian troops did not move. And we got the Soviets making a move in Leningrad. Germany's moving in Leningrad. And Bryansk, those Italian troops are under fire. And the Germans are sweeping through the countryside. And the Caucasus have a even land battle, but the aircraft of the Soviets should defend. And Iran's oil was left undisturbed.
There are 7 hotspots in Russia now.
And that's it.
Big difference from the start of the game.
Operation Sea Lion, the invasion of Britain.
The Axis did not send in a tank.
The tankless invasion.
Could be a problem.
Force advantage. Well, that's a lot of aircraft. That's a lot of aircraft. Round 5, combat results. Britain holds on, but the Axis do have a couple of troops left there. For now. More troops on the way from America. And in Russia, the Archangel garrison held on, destroyed a tank. But the Germans took the Urals and R11 and R8, and stress is building, and the oil-rich Caucasus are under contest. And Middle East and Africa is quiet. That's it.
3 stress. And then this one's gonna be 4, 8, 18. So that's the stress just from the dead.
You got 3 stress for German dead, 1 for America, 1 for Soviets, and 2 for the British.
It looks like Russia will fall.
Russia's gonna go down 1. Will Germany?
Nope, stay. Germany's gonna stay exactly with 5 stress.
Oh man.
That's the 3rd turn in a row they've had exactly 5 stress. Look at that.
He's managing his people well.
3 and 3.
A good Secret Service does a good job.
Gestapo.
That's what I was gonna say.
All right, so are we gonna call it for today, or
I want to go one more round,
Soviet economics.
but that's me. I know we're,
Yes,
we're all.
yeah.
I'm fine, but it's up to you
Yeah,
guys.
well, you live here.
I don't have to drive home.
I think we can get pretty efficient. Build the stacks by the time I get him there, and he's going to produce out of the Rhineland and
So
murder me.
maybe we would just
The
call
Axis
it.
is one. With Russia at no income, their units are going to flounder.
This will be the last production they get. They'll have 3, 6, and 7, and they'll have to pay a penalty off of that. So, I do, yeah, you're right.
The Axis
It's
will win
not-
in 3 to 4 rounds
Yes, but it's not completely obvious
right now.
Yeah,
right
because
now.
there's stuff that's gonna happen down here that is gonna swing back the other way a little bit.
To the Axis side.
To
Pro-Axis?
well, maybe. I mean,
That's a
if I move some stuff over here, then yeah, I think I can.
Well, but
but with
look-
what's here now, I don't think I can.
Italy's
right?
got. Italy's going to be sending because they're going to be focused down here now,
Right.
Because you've got that area under control. You
Yeah.
still have the rails, barely.
Barely. And really, that depends on how battles go too, right? I mean, I might be able to keep it going, but I mean, theoretically, I'll probably continue going this way, so I'll continue getting medals as I try to keep, try to expand my
And it's gonna be easy
resource
getting.
capability, right?
It's going to be easy getting, and you're going to get so many resources.
And I'll probably start, I'll probably nibble into that on the Britain side to knock their morale down. And but I'll probably, like I said, I'll probably bring this guy over here to battle this, and I don't know what'll happen over here.
Well,
I-
what won't happen is the Allies are not going to make much inroads into France and Germany. I don't think so.
No.
Even with that huge air force, I don't think so.
Probably could into France, not Germany.
Yes, I can get into France. I can't get into Germany right now. And that doesn't
Yeah, right
necessarily
now.
cut
He
down
is
the
right
production.
now.
And I should have done it before now, and I couldn't have.
So we want to call the game.
Call it a game.
Thanks, man. That's fun.
Well, good game.
Axis victory.
You guys want to do it post-game interviews? Who has to lead first? You're
I'm probably gonna leave first. Yeah.
All right, Rich is interviewed first, I guess. Steve
Right.
said yes.
Do you want your face on the video?
Okay, so somebody
Rich
could ask me
here,
questions.
he was
What do you think of this game?
he was
I like
controlling
it. It's
Germany.
fun. It takes a long time, but it's fun.
Have you played any game like this before?
Not quite this detailed. I played things like Risk and maybe some other strategy games. I played Warhammer 40K, so it's another strategy game. But yeah, it's definitely got a whole different level of complexity with it, and just interesting strategies to think about on how you're going to do it, and wondering what the other guy might do, and thinking about how best to try to win versus being conservative or being aggressive. I don't know, it's a lot of different choices to make.
What do you think the key was to your victory?
Oh, it was the turn where I went after Bryansk and took that when he went the other way and went essentially around that attack, and it allowed me to go into his core of his area.
Did you film post battle? Steve, I don't think you did.
Yeah.
Oh, you did. You got that. We got a whole bunch more stress there. And...
Yeah.
Yeah, he did that.
Okay. I was probably busy counting stress.
Matt, you want to be interviewed?
Sure.
You want your face on the
You
video?
gotta say who you're controlling because people will forget.
Sure, I really don't mind.
Matt controlling the Soviet Union.
Yep. No,
What do you think?
Could have done better, but
The Soviets are tough to play.
They are.
They
it's
really
alright.
are.
Not for a challenge.
I feel like. Sorry.
You're not being
I'm not being
interviewed.
interviewed. I'll be quiet.
You're such an extrovert. All right. So this is the first time you played the game. What do you think of it?
It was a really fun game. I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to playing it again. There's a lot to it. I really enjoyed the intricacies about it. You know what Rich was talking about too, about trying to catch this person off guard. It's kind of where my downfall was, where I was trying to cut him off in one spot, but I predicted it wrong and it turned against me. So
Yeah, we
that's how the
found
game goes.
that to be true.
And you bet all your oil on that turn.
Yes, I did.
He outbid you by one.
Yeah, just by one as well. And had nothing to produce after that, but you know, sometimes it's how it goes.
Was it that hard to learn the game?
It actually wasn't. You pick it up after one term. You there's a lot to learn, but it's actually not that hard to learn. It's pretty straightforward to pick up. Strategy, on the other hand, that's a different story that maybe I still need to catch up on.
Oh, I still haven't figured it out.
Having that resource guide or that the guide on the reference guide with all the steps on it is a really handy thing to keep you on track.
Anything else?
What's that?
Anything else you'd like to add?
I'm looking forward to trying out a worldwide theater instead of just the European here. You know, I guess you say it's pretty unique on how it turned out on pretty much only the western front of Europe, a little bit into Russia. But, I mean, this seemed like a lot at first, but once you pick it up, you really want to try to see how it plays out worldwide, which has got to be pretty crazy.
All right, Nate, do you want to be interviewed and
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
picture your face on the
Absolutely.
video?
Hi, my name is Nate. I played as both the Americans and the British together, which was interesting. Just to keep those straight. It was kind of hard to figure out the strategy of what either should be, and kind of what their specialty was. Playing America is tough in this version to get over there, but I finally got to where I have a stream of people going in, but it's kind of too little too late. I mean, kind of according to history or similar, it makes sense why the Allies didn't go into the Scandinavian peninsula. I did that. Did me nothing but waste some moves. I guess I got a few resources out of it. Yeah, I mean, we're at a point where we kind of called it, knowing that the Axis would overwhelm once Russia was gone because of the resources, and that kind of makes sense based on history too. If you were able to get the manufacturing and raw material resources of the Soviet Union, Germany would have won, and Rich did focus on that. I'd like to think I held off really well in the British Isles and played that really well strategically, but even I couldn't have lent much aid to the Soviet Union. I couldn't have protected their waters because by the time they would have let me in, I couldn't do anything. I wish I would have used my forces from Africa and not gone north with them, but kicked them out around the ocean. Maybe have tried to defend Egypt, knowing that's a huge vulnerability in the game. There's a little bit to it, but yeah, I like this game, and it's pretty well laid out. That's the absolute truth. It's well laid out to where you can learn it. There are some intricacies, but it really does all make sense for the most part, according to history. Even if there are some dissenters regarding the use of boats on patrol to return to their space, I think that is absolutely legitimate. And I'll do it tomorrow again.
All right.
I'll be interviewed. I have a couple comments. One I thought was interesting.
Hold on. You gotta face the camera.
I was Robbie, the advisor to the Axis, although they quit using my advice after turn 3. One thing I do still think is interesting is looking at this map, how the Allies did not pressure West Africa's oil. I feel like as the Allies, you kind of got to do that just to keep Germany and Italy honest down there.
That's a fair point, yeah. And there are resources to be gained.
Because right now they're totally focused in Europe and over here, and you can just see it's just empty.
To where it's nearly worth giving up the Middle East to go into there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that would be an interesting move. Yep. So the other point, well, I guess I have 2 points, but they're kind of similar. I think this game is a lot about how long can Russia hold on while UK and America kick Germany's butt. I think that's how you're supposed to
In
win
this
as the
theater,
Allies.
that makes sense. Yeah, I
Which-
don't think Russia can do it.
No, it's basically can they hold on long enough, which leads me to my second point was that I thought was so interesting was he was not in dysfunctional infrastructure till Moscow fell, which I think was turn 4.
Yeah.
And so he actually did a really good job at holding on, but yet somehow here we still are. So I just thought that was kind of interesting was that, that it played out. It almost seems like contradictory things that I'm saying. Like, well, Russia has to hang on. Well, they did hang on. Well, then what happened? And maybe part of the reason was there wasn't really any Russian-German fighting until turn 3. I think that's very atypical.
Yeah, there was none on turn 2.
No, and Leningrad fell on turn 1, but there was nothing in any of these 5, well, you don't count Volga, but typically these 4 countries will have a battle on turn 1 or 2. I'm talking about Belarus, Bryansk, Ukraine, Caucasus. There was nothing until turn 3 when he hit Bryansk. That's all I got. What do you have, Steve, as the Allied advisor?
Is it recording now, Steve?
Yes.
Okay, go.
As the Allied advisor in World War II. Oh, it was, this game's driving me nuts is what it is. Because I can't figure out Russia. Because I know Russia is the key to the game, the global game. Mm-hmm. And you gotta know how to play it. And I do not know how to play it. But I know there's an answer out there. I just don't know what it is. And yeah, you guys played great picking this up the first time. I think it's really good that you had a couple of seasoned semi-veterans to help you with the rules and just getting movement straight and that sort of thing. And that would have been great if we had it on our first game because we messed up so bad with the rules. It was a disaster of a game. We can't even count it. It was so bad.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is a fantastic game. Well worth the $240 for it. And that's something. Because back in 1986, 85, I paid, I think, $40 to $45 for Axis and Allies. And that was a lot of money back then. And that was the most expensive board game I ever bought up until that point. But this game is, it feels like it's about 4 or 5 times deeper than chess. Mm-hmm. And so, and the number of possible games, I can't remember what the number is for chess. I think it's in the billions, but they can actually count it. I'm not sure if anybody could actually count the number of possible games.
Especially with the dice roll.
With the dice going with the no.
Yeah, that's another thing. And that's legitimate because there is luck in war. There's some guys you think they're brilliant commanders, they just get lucky.
We haven't seen a single game that's even been remotely close to another one yet. Like I was saying, this Western Africa is completely quiet. We have not seen a game like that. Usually there's at least some pressure over there.
Yeah, it seems like each one has its own personality.
Oh yeah.
And I think a comment in terms of Western Africa, the best thing you can do is pressure over there to start to stress Germany, and that's far away from any of their production centers. Mm-hmm. And so there's no rail lines
No
there.
factories in this
Or
area.
there's no rail line to it. There is rail lines between that, but you can start to disrupt all of that and then require forces there. So I think that's what the Allies need to do from the start.
Yeah, that might be a thing for the Americans to work on is rather than shipping across the north with all of their stuff, send stuff south too.
And I think that's what Steve kind of directed us, but he wasn't completely. He didn't tell us how obvious
Yeah, I
that
didn't want to
was.
tell you how to play the game and implement my strategies because
No, that's a good strategy.
You gotta learn yourself.
Because
I did
that's
tell
part of the fun.
I did tell the Axis, look, if you lose the Mediterranean, I think you'll lose this game. And I think that's true. If the Allies hold Gibraltar and can sail in here with boats and land stacks, it's over. Because they can land any of these.
Yeah.
There's just so many territories they can go into. So that was the one.
Yeah, that was one of our early strategies to take Gibraltar and try to prevent that from happening. That was one of the things we were trying to focus on.
And they did it.
And, really you guys did fight back very hard, so it was, you were able to get there.
And that's how you came out with your Navy.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, I think I wasted a little bit of time. I think luck fought against me, trying to shoot down submarines or sink submarines. But I think that was kind of part of it. Like, I'm not too mad about it. I'm glad that I was finally able to do it because I looked at the board 10, 15 minutes ago and I said, oh, the German Navy's gone.
There's no.
The Kriegsmarine's gone.
Yeah.
No German.
And it could come back, but I had a really awesome defense of Great Britain, but it's not going to do anything that could. I think it was a good defense, and even some luck fought me. Rich shot down a lot of planes, but we defended it for the most part right now, and there's not going to be a rebuttal anytime soon. But that doesn't mean that I can get into mainland Europe.
Steven, what do you think?
Oh.
He left. Well, he doesn't get to be a star then. A YouTube star.
He's so disappointed.
I mean, it's gonna be, if we were to continue, it's gonna be a 5-6 stack of America every turn.
Yeah, every turn. But I'm gonna have.
But you're gonna be making bigger stacks.
Because I've been building 8 stacks now, but I'll be probably doing more than that, spreading it around a little bit.
And you have the
And we'll
railroad.
have Italy will still be building their stuff.
So whichever way he sails, you can just railroad it to
Well,
it.
because he could bring stuff. He could put stuff in here and come in down to
Yeah.
pressure me in that
Only
direction,
luck could-
and he could maybe even try to come other directions too. But if he doesn't reinforce too much here, I may be able to start going after that again. But I don't know that I'd ever be able to actually get in there.
Well, and this is an interesting.
It may end up at a draw point, really.
Well-
And we may just turn after turn after turn of just taking units away from each other, but not really getting anywhere.
So this is an interesting dynamic of what do we call that? Force control, or
Oh, the morale board, or
the force
Force advantage.
force advantage.
Oh, yeah.
Force advantage. With force advantage, you will get more opportunities with the dice that you roll, but you also give more opportunities to them with the dice that they roll.
Exactly.
And that's a wild part of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
It's almost better if you're defending to have like a big stack of a single color and not be rolling dice that hit, but just causing the other team to miss.
It's true.
Because you don't have the thing for them to shoot at.
But yeah, I think the what would end this game from here moving out is going to be the morale stuff.
And I think
where-
Africa is weak right now, and I think it would fall.
oh yeah.
and that would knock Britain down, which would then make it hard for this to stay going.
Yeah, especially if you can get it in, if you can defeat the American Navy, if you rebuilt and knock them out, which I think you probably could do that. You
No
don't
way.
think so?
No.
With
Well, because he can keep building Navy.
Yeah, he can build Navy.
So can Germany.
And he already has a 5-ship advantage, right? Or 4-ship advantage.
Yeah.
And 2 of them are
Well,
battleships.
just two.
Those
There's
are
one.
Italian.
There's one Italian Navy.
Oh yeah, of course
So
the
I just
Italian
have a
battleship.
2-ship advantage over the Italian Navy. 2 other ships over there in the Indian Ocean. That was a mistake to ever send those up.
now,
My
granted,
Soviet ship died.
I think I almost talked myself into thinking it's not an Axis victory, but I think it still is.
I think it is. There's no way. I don't think it can happen. It would only be dice rolls and luck. And that's like a 5%
Yeah.
chance.
But and again, like I said, I think it would start coming into this, right? Could I start killing enough of your stuff that you'd start coming down the curve and start impacting you? But it would be me and you.
You will make-
The British side, I think I would start getting into because I'd start getting into the
You
Russian
get
stuff
7
here.
medals, 7 more medals from
Right,
that.
and I'd start hitting the British stuff and start attacking, start moving down
Yeah.
here too. And so, British side.
You will bring the British crown to its knees
Yeah.
because it needs its empire.
Yeah.
So you will steal the empire and any of its allies to where all you have
His B1.
is Canada and Britain
Yeah,
producing not that much.
So it'd basically be Germany versus America, which is almost what it already is.
But it's Germany.
so what movie is that?
conquering
The Man in the High Castle.
Yeah, the High
the world.
Castle.
Great show. Great show.
Except it's Germany with the resources of Russia and Africa. So
Well, this is what Hitler wanted. He
Yeah.
wanted to take the Soviet Union first and get the continental resources of that whole continent to fight our continent. And he didn't want us to come into the war that early.
I think it'd be really interesting to play as Japan.
Japan's a lot of fun.
It is.
I think Japan is the most powerful country.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah,
Really?
I think so.
At the start.
Yeah, but the problem with Japan is, and this is what everybody says, they can't win the game. Where are the capitals at that win you the game? Moscow, B1, in the eastern United States. They can't. And I mean, they maybe can take Moscow.
So Tokyo isn't.
No, it's a win condition for the Allies. They have to take it. But I'm saying Japan can't win the game.
Okay.
They can lose the game, but it's hard for them to win because
So America and the British Empire expand, and so those allies don't necessarily change. But
they get India and
Australia.
and then you get a little bit more resources from the western U.S. and Alaska. But what I'm saying is, it's almost like the global game is like, can Japan influence Europe enough to matter? And America and UK are almost like, I'm trying to focus on Europe while not allowing Japan to influence Europe.
Yeah, so essentially it would take your build, some of your build stuff's going to get filtered off into the Pacific, right? And so you'll have shorter stacks.
Well,
Depending if you get influenced that way, right? I mean, it depends on how you choose to send.
well, he gets more
He gets
resources
more.
though, because he gets 2, 3, 6 more.
Yeah.
Plus, Alaska's got a little bit more, 1, 2, 1. I mean, America's this scenario is pretty even.
this scenario is even. I feel like the world scenario favors the Axis.
And maybe. But I
I
don't
don't-
think that other people have seen that. I think it's about 50-50.
Really?
I think so. But of course, the Allies won World War II, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's. But the fact that the Allies won World War II was mismanagement in the European theater, and then luck. Well, maybe not
No,
luck, splitting an atom.
Every
But-
game we played,
I think really
Russia has fallen, and that
the-
didn't happen in real life.
in the
Yeah.
Asian theater, it was really probably more of Japan bit off more than they could chew.
That's true.
If they would have, I don't know but if they would have kept America out longer, I think they might have been able to consolidate their territories that they had taken better, rather than pulling America into something that we were able to ramp up and beat them in.
But yeah, Japan's a lot of fun to play.
You're a hoon.
Is Japan your favorite to play, Steve?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Another accent.
It's more difficult too. It's different.
It's almost like
Europe.
playing a different game, really.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's hard to say it.
I don't know if
Boy.
I'm good at board games. I don't think that I am because I usually don't excel at it. So part of me would want to play Germany, but I feel like I'd screw it up.
I feel like it's easy to screw up. If you get too aggressive, that's Germany's downfall.
I mean, I was trying to make a big prediction and really try to throw them off, but
But
clearly it was the wrong prediction, and they just went straight for it, the obvious shot, and it's like, well, that was an easy defense, and I decided not to.
I had, on that event, I had written down I was going to go up here, and I changed my mind and said I'm just going to go in because going up there doesn't get me anything.
Yeah.
How do I win the game? The only way I get
Yeah,
in the
so
game is I got to take Moscow.
So I was afraid. My thought process was, you saw this massive defense here. There was like 2 troops on here.
Yeah,
So
and that's the turn that I chose to go last,
yeah,
so that way I could let you move first, and then you moved away from where I was going.
were you
and
going
it
to
was like,
cancel all those if I didn't?
Probably not.
This would have been a biggie for that.
It'd just been a whole lot scarier.
Everyone would have died.
Yeah, it'd have been a much
There've
more
been a lot
bloody
of
battle.
casualties.
Been a lot more like Stalingrad.
Have we played a game yet where Russia's won?
That's a good boy. I could have put up a better fight.
Camden.
Camden did.
Camden won. No, wait, no, that was Jeff.
It's,
No,
I feel like I don't have many
But was he-
resources
was he
in
Russia
Russia, so
or
it's
Germany?
pretty hard to build things up.
I thought it was Russia that won. Maybe it was Germany. No, it was Russia. But it was neck and neck right until the end. It could have gone either way.
Why I think the Stalin rule. I mean, that's partly why I think the Stalin rule makes
Yeah.
sense and is good. But
But I don't know that it would have made a huge difference in this game. I don't know that it would have changed.
Yeah, no,
But-
there was one opportunity that Nate was actually saying that. He's like, oh, so I can't help you at all. I can't remember what turn that was.
You're probably thinking about coming up this
Is-
way and helping out.
You at some point, yeah, you were going to come send in some
you
reinforcements.
can help out here, but then you just gotta stop. You can't go any more in.
It seems silly up to an extent that, like, you are. I guess it's that point you can do it, but you know. Yeah, never mind. I was gonna say like your country is suffering and just nope, can't get any help from any allies yet.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I think in the playtesting they were seeing the Allies winning a lot because all America would do would go straight from here to A3 into here and then just rail into wherever they wanted to go, and they could defend Moscow.
So is a
that
Stalin
way.
rule something that's in place every game then, or is it
It's an
something you
optional rule, but they pretty much recommend it.
Yeah, it was accurate, historically accurate.
And it-
Yeah.
he
and I
wasn't
think it
gonna allow
balances the game.
massive troops. To
Yeah. Marduk, we're gonna go listen to Peterson later.
Oh, there's a big spider out there. He's looking at it.
Oh, he loves bugs.
All right, let me take off. Thanks for the game, guys.
Yeah, that was.
Let me.
I'm definitely interested in trying this again, especially worldwide. And I'm gonna be even more overwhelmed. So.
Why?
Well, maybe
The size of that dog.
We'll have to do
Like a dinosaur.
faster because I think you guys
Yeah.
were going a lot faster by the end.
Yeah, we were. 2 hours to explain the rules.
And you had 12 orders to write, which I felt like was a lot, where as opposed to most people write nine.
You seem orders faster than me. I was.
I knew what I wanted to do, but I do something different.
I guess the United States though, you got like
Pretty
through
easy.
real quick. It's like all right, just produce and then.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's the U.S. is
I had,
easy.
I had a lot of fronts. That
So-
I had no idea what you
Russia, especially I think Germany.
Big dog.